Hello, pilots, and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. As always, my name is Phil, and today we have Quinn back on the channel, seeing if he can avenge himself after last week. He's had a bit of a streak where it's not gone quite his way, but let's see what he can do this time. And going up against it, we actually have myself with a good old Empire list. But joining me to discuss this again, we've kept him on the call. We haven't let him leave, but he is back for today. We have...
It's James. I'm here to cheer for Quinn so that Phil might lose. And also, I would like to go home.
I mean, if I lose, then you can't go home. How's that?
I mean, look, just some way to get this restraining bolt off me would be fantastic.
Well, you'll have to get R2 to help you with that one because okay. I'm not taking it off. But yeah, so we've got a great little match up here. So seeing as you are rooting for Quinn, did you want to run through what he has brought for us?
I certainly can. So Quinn has brought a Scum list with Crassus Trellix in the in the slave one. It's got the title. With outmaneuver, auto blasters, cluster missiles, Zam Wazelle, false transponder codes, a shield upgrade, the newer Separatist Slave 1 title, and Greedo Gunner. Just gonna take a breath, hang on. Right. Additionally, we've got Han Solo in the solo version of the Falcon, with Swarm Tactics, Jabba the Hutt taking up 2 seats in there, shield upgrade, and the Lando's Millennium Falcon title. Lando's not piloting that, but he is piloting the Escape Shuttle with a shield upgrade to round off the list.
A lot on there. I'm wondering if Jabba's in the cockpit or actually just chilling in the...
There's no way Jabba fits on that in that cockpit. He must be out by the little hollow chest table, which I know has a proper name. I can never remember it. Was it Jarek? No, that's a character, isn't it? It's something weird.
I can't remember off the top of my head, actually.
Whilst you go through your own list, I'm going to have a quick Google.
Okay. Well, going up against Quinn, we have myself, and I am running the big boys today. I have 2 TIE Punishers in the form of Redline and Death Rain. Both have fire control systems, advanced proton torpedoes, and thermal detonators. Redline does also have the XX-23 S-thread tracers. And we also have 2 Gamma Squadron Aces in the TIE Bomber, the old TIE Bomber, not the new First Order one, so it's a little bit smaller on the board, both with marksmanship, advanced proton torpedoes, and cluster missiles. Now, I do want to point out this was recorded pretty much the day that the points update had dropped. So for those of you that are eagle-eyed and checking the list, yes, these are no longer legal, but this was recorded just before, so we thought we'd bring it to the table anyway because, hey, I like flying Punishers and Bombers, and I think they look cool.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, the Imperial squad here is 202 points, so you could probably drop off maybe both marksmanships off of the Aces.
Yeah.
And the Scum list, you got shield upgrades taking up a lot of points. You can drop a couple of those and you're good, really. A few substitutions and you can basically build this again.
I mean, you could just drop Zam and put something else on there anyway.
There is also that, yeah.
Like, Zam Crew, whilst cool, I don't think... It's a bit trickier to utilise than Zam Pilot. Zam Pilot is amazing. Zam Crew, you got to fiddle about with a bit more because you don't start with any charges.
There's a lot going on with that. Also, I was correct. It was Dejarik was the name of the hollow chest set in the Falcon.
Good memory there. Also featured in Rogue One as well, when they're on Jeddah.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought was a really nice little nod there, actually, as well. But yeah, I mean, I know you've already said that you are currently rooting for Quinn here, but as an objective observer who doesn't just hate the Empire for no reason at all, which list do you think does have the edge here?
Well, initially, I did feel like your Imperialist had a good advantage. You've got you got more ships, you've got the numbers, you've got a lot of torpedoes, you've got bombs, you've got a lot of ways to target lock stuff. And if you can get crits onto the Falcon or the Slave One, you can really rack up the damage. But Quinn has Jabber and False Transponder Codes, which is a combo I've gone up against before. And it's really annoying if you're trying to launch any kind of, well, not even really trying to launch missiles. If you're just trying to rely on target locks throughout the game, you're getting 5 potential rounds of not getting your target lock and maybe even getting jammed.
Yeah. False Transponder Codes with Jabba the Hutt is a very rude combination, and I've come up against it a couple of times. I came up against it whilst flying 4 TIE Interceptors, and I did not have a lot of fun there because I just kept getting jammed and be like, that focus token you got, not anymore. And I'd be like, great, that's exactly what I wanted you to do. Thank you very much. So False Transponder Codes plus Jabba the Hutt is a very clever combination. It's a little bit more expensive than it was, but you know what? I think if you can get it to work, that utility is great. It can really shut down a lot of lists that do focus on having those mod abilities, target locks, focuses.
Absolutely. It's a great defensive bonus to your team. I think it probably works better if you've got more ships with False Transponder Codes rather than just Crassus here.
Yeah, it gives you more options there to spread that around. At the time of recording this, I think Quinn's list was 199 points, so he couldn't fit a second False Transponder Code on there.
Fair enough.
But it is really good. And another thing it's quite good for, as we've seen in a previous game, is actually getting rid of the reinforced token as well.
Yes, that extra jam effect can be really effective.
It is really good. But looks like I've got an interesting little start here.
Yeah, the rocks are in a very central location here.
Yeah. So that's going to make it quite tricky for both players, actually, because the Bombers and the Punisher, they're not the most maneuverable ships. But
so there's quite a lot of big bases on the board. We've got 3 medium bases and 1 large.
Yeah.
And those, the clouds, okay, they won't hurt you, but they're going to get in the way. They're going to deny actions. And there's not much space between them.
Yeah, they're in a very interesting pattern there. And that sort of, with those 4 clouds and that debris are in a sort of a W shape, which normally would be okay, but it kind of clogs up the lanes a bit. There's not great laneage just to run straight through there. You'd have to get it just right to manage that.
I mean, that does potentially help you later on with your dropping of bombs, because you've got thermal detonators on both of the Punishers.
Yes.
And with these narrow pathways that the ships can go through, you've got a better chance of blocking off one of those exits and getting some damage.
Yeah, and it then gives Quinn the choice of, do I take the bomb or do I take no action and potentially strain myself? So it does give a bit of an extra thought process there for Quinn. But as we know, Quinn is one to just say, I'm going for it and just pulling a Hail Mary out of nowhere. So it'll be interesting to see what he does decide to do there.
Absolutely. I also quite like that Quinn has Han Solo being Initiative 6 with Swarm Tactics to buff up Crassus to shoot at 6 to almost guarantee Greedo being beneficial.
Yeah, that is a really good idea there. And again, we know what Quinn's like with his lists. He looks for those synergies and what he can use together to work really well. So Swarm Tactics in the engagement phase, and then Jabba the Hutt in the end phase to get False Transponder Codes back. It's very clever and can work really well when it comes off. Obviously, it does require keeping Han and Crassus quite close together to be able to pull it off, which again, these obstacles could make that a bit trickier.
It could, yeah.
But again, with Lando and the escape craft being on the Falcon already, it gives the Falcon just that little bit of extra health. It gives it the extra 3 shields it can use on itself instead.
Well, it also
So
means that Han can use Lando's pilot ability, which again is another combination of abilities that, okay, that's more of an obvious one. It's like, oh, Han and Lando and the Falcon together. That should be a good combo.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a good combo because Han is, while you defend or perform a primary attack, if the attack is obstructed by an obstacle, you may roll one additional die. Great, really useful.
yeah.
Lando, after you roll dice, if you are not stressed, you may gain one stress token to re-roll all of your blank results.
Yeah, it's just brilliant.
And then on top of that, you got the Lando's title on the Falcon, allowing you to roll an additional attack die against a stressed enemy ship.
The only thing it's missing at the moment, I feel, to really rack up those dice is
a
trick
way
shot.
to. Oh yeah, I could see trick shot. I was going to say a way to make sure the opponent is stressed, because your list of bombers and punishers aren't really doing many red actions.
No, and although they do have red maneuvers, the bombers, it's only the K turns for the bombers.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that they'll need to do that. And if you do a K turn, you're probably going to be, range 3, really far away, but turned around to come back in.
Yeah, using it as a really strong reposition, knowing that it might take me out of the fight for a bit, or I get a really long range shot. And with the punishers, yes, they've got the stop, yes, they've got the 3 hard that's red and the 5K, but again, all the other maneuvers there should help with that.
Is Han going to hit that?
Oh, I can almost guarantee
I can't quite tell because the fire spray is in the way.
Judging by the way it looks.
What does Han have? Han has a sharp 2 or a 1 bank. 1 bank isn't going to work. It needs to be a sharp, and the 3 is definitely not going to work. So
I think the sharp 2 is gonna hit that.
Otherwise, one of those shield upgrades might be going away early.
Yes. Oh, there's nothing worse than when the peg comes off the base of the ship.
There is. It's when you magnetize your ships and the magnet comes off of the peg.
Oh, that is frustrating.
I've had that happen with my own Falcon, I think twice now. I need to redo that peg.
And that is why I always keep super glue with me when I'm in the shop. Admittedly, I could just buy it, but I always keep super glue with me. And if you are interested in magnetizing your ships, we do have a great little video on our channel explaining how we magnetize our ships. And if you're interested in it, that is something you can have a look at, and you'll find the card in the top corner for that.
Yeah, I do like magnetizing the ships, especially since if you fly past someone else's ship, you can sort of just tilt them off to the side slightly and make it look a bit more dynamic.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the reasons I actually originally magnetized my ships, was back in first edition with the TIE Silencer. Because it was so big, you were always you'd get close, you'd always have to take it off, because, I mean, that thing could be 2 foot away from the enemy and it was still touching it because it was so big. And then I ended up magnetizing K-Wings and arcs, and there's nothing more fun than just having it there and just tilting it and just be like, wee, banking around the corner. It looks really cool. So
now I think that was a jam token on the board. So was that the first use of false transponder codes?
It looks like we have had a use of false transponder codes.
Yes, it's gone down to 0. Cool.
So that is sneaky.
So it's used up. It's never going to come back. Oh, Jabba's it.
Oh, Jabba.
Jabba.
Oh, Jabba. We don't understand what you're saying, but we know that you're going to be a pain in my butt. So obviously trying to get a reposition around there to see if we can come back around. But it looks like that was a failed action there. Thank you.
So failed the boost, but now you know that if you do the bank next turn, you're going to hit that cloud.
Absolutely. It does give me a little bit of an advantage going forward, but probably going to get
also,
shot.
You're still behind that cloud as it is, so you've got, an obstructed shot coming at you. The 3, is that going to fit? That is close. I can't tell from here. There's a finger in the way.
It made it past. As to whether it's going to fit in behind Crassus, we will see.
That's true.
Will.
But that does keep Han close enough to trigger swarm tactics.
No, swarm tactics is range 1, not range
Oh,
0.
you can't do it range 0.
Can't use swarm
Oh, of
tactics at range
course.
0, which is, I mean, in this situation, it's not going to have much of an effect because nothing is going to be shooting back at Crassus
True,
anyway.
but it is something to keep in mind. I
Yes.
hadn't considered that.
I mean, something that's also quite interesting as well with this list and with Crassus, because of the Slave 1 title that is on there, that Slave 1 title effectively means you can count your rear arc as the front arc. So with that...
Hang on, let's go. So this Slave 1 title is, while you perform a front main arc attack, if you're in the defender's rear half arc, like 180 at the back, you may change one hit result to a crit result.
Okay, I think I might have got that slightly wrong. Don't hurt me in the chat. There is something on there that Quinn has got that allows it to basically, so you can perform special attacks from your rear.
That's Crassus's ability. So you can perform special front attacks from your rear. While you perform a special attack, you can re-roll one attack die. So the auto blasters and the cluster missiles can go out the back.
Yes, which is really quite cool. So again, making what is already that's scary.
I also quite like, again, another combo, auto blasters and Greedo.
Yeah,
like that's
the combinations on this are just insane.
I hadn't even clocked that one until just now.
Yeah, and that is a load of shields off of Redline. But then again, that's what you expect with Punishers. They are just big.
There to get punished.
Yep, absolutely. So first round of shooting there definitely went in Quinn's favour because I didn't get to shoot anything back.
It did, but Crassus, similar to Han last turn, is facing an obstacle.
And I don't think if Quinn wants to keep Crassus attacking next turn, that he can avoid that obstacle.
And I think knowing that there's likely to be less tokens on the field, you probably turn into the fight here, particularly with Redline.
Yeah.
Get those 2 target locks with Redline's ability and fire some torpedoes, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you got the torpedoes, and also just for the sheer poops and giggles, dropping some bombs as well.
Oh, dropping bombs now. Okay.
Yeah, potentially hoping for Crassus to go reasonably quickly. Plus, I just like dropping bombs.
Pretty quick. I mean, yeah, that is the good thing about the thermal detonators. You've got 4 uses of them. Although you've now put 2 down.
Yeah, I don't like to be sparing with them. There's a third one.
That's fair. Oh my word, even more with Death Rain.
Yeah.
Are you also going to opt for Death Rain's ability of taking an action after dropping a device?
Absolutely.
Yep,
there's a focus token.
And I like your sparing use with the thermal detonators with Death Rain to maybe get more use out of that later on in the game.
Yeah, it is one of those ones where it does really help out. And
I mean, it's 4 rounds of double mods, potentially.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, I've got the 2 named pilots on the Punishers. I mean, it would be nice if we get something more later in the future, but at the moment, they're really good pilots. They've both got really good abilities.
They're not overly complicated. They're just, this is what they do. It's efficient. Go for it.
Yeah. And these builds aren't incredibly expensive either. Obviously, in new points or new money, they are 55 points for Death Rain and 67 for Redline. And bearing in mind, Redline does have the S threads on there as well, which I know aren't particularly expensive, although they are 4 points, which is...
I feel like that's gone up.
I think that has. Thermal detonators have definitely gone up. There have been some up and downs. Again, obviously, I don't have the full list. When AMG did their points update, I don't remember, but I don't think they did the points update kind of how FFG used to do it with the red and blue to make it really obvious where the big differences were. They might have. I can't remember, to be honest. It was a while ago now.
I think they did with the rule updates, but not the point updates. But again, I might also be wrong on that. And through one cloud onto another.
Ooh.
I mean, I guess that doesn't really matter because you only roll for.
You roll for both.
No, you roll for both, but you won't take damage.
You won't take damage. So it is a strain on the first one.
Okay.
And maybe, I don't know if we rolled for the second one then.
Oh well. So what we got next? Death Rain, I suppose. Getting past this little traffic jam that you've created.
Oh yeah, I like to make things tricky for myself. You know that.
And you've bumped, so
that looks like it's going to go well for me.
Yeah, what? I mean, normally we saw in these situations, you go, oh, that's a mistake, but you're here. So what were you thinking?
I mean, I'm not going to lie, it was a while ago, and I probably wasn't. I don't know, to be honest. I thought that maybe the ships were going to be moving a bit further. Or I just forgot which order they flew in, to be honest. So, to be honest, I make many mistakes. Just to point out as well, false transponder codes is back. So
that's recharged with Jabba.
That's fun. Going to enjoy that in a moment. But yeah, I just really messed up, which is a shame because I think if I'd have managed to get Death Rain round, that would have been a much better turn there. So that is using Redline's ability to get the target lock, trigger false transponder codes and lose the target lock,
and then use Redline's ability to get another lock. So were both of those target locks on Crassus?
Yes, because the first lock got broken instantly.
That's a really effective way to get around that combo.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be a similar way with R3
There's not many ships that can do that. I don't think there's any others, come to think of it, because normally it's just one chance at an action per turn.
Yeah.
You've got other things where you can like pass a lock to a friend or... Yeah. For just one ship doing it on his own. Yeah.
It's pretty effective. And there's another cloud landing there. And another strain.
Another strain.
Oh, this would be the ideal time to have 4 shots coming in.
It would, but one of them's bumped.
Doesn't have a side arc or anything. It's a bit of a shame with the Punisher.
Might also be getting hit by 3 bombs. I mean, you're definitely getting hit by that one furthest to the top.
Yeah.
Maybe the second one. I think you're okay for the third.
Yeah, and I think we've just forgotten bombs at this point.
I mean, you'll see them on the field at some point and tally it up. So
easily done.
Well, I guess either Han or Crassus can start because of swarm tactics. So we'll try and figure out who's shooting first.
Yes, because swarm tactics is live here.
And you'd think that Han would shoot first because he does, but we'll see. 2 dice, so probably
that would be Han.
Just a rubbish shot.
Yeah, not a great shot. So I think Quinn just debating whether to use auto blasters there or just use a normal attack. And I think in this one, because I actually do just have Crassus in arc, auto blasters isn't worth it. Or it doesn't really matter, should I say.
Right, because you have to be not in their arc to get the bonus for the crits. Fair enough. So standard range 1 shot, still with Greedo and
checking the
potentially
bombs.
Something with Zam. Oh, there's the bombs being remembered. How many of these are hitting Death Rain?
1 strain.
Okay, not too bad.
2.
Oh, that's
damage.
Right, okay. Oh, does that mean you're in range? Oh, all 3 of them.
More damage. Oh, that was effective.
Yeah.
Ouch. Oh, silly Death Rain. Silly Medline. It's all right. We live and we learn, hopefully.
Oh, and that's a good shot as well.
Yes. Triggering
And
Greedo
another
for
crit.
hit double crit. I'm not a big fan of that. Not a big fan. Oh.
Especially since Redline doesn't have any shields left.
Yeah, and that's a direct hit and a structural damage. Yay! I now have a brick with no agility.
And that is your most expensive ship on the board as well.
Yep, that's a lot of points there for Quinn. And yeah. So I'm also going to call that I feel that I just made another mistake here.
You shot at Crassus and probably triggered Zam, allowing them to shoot again?
No, I shot at Crassus with the XX-23s to get target locks for everyone, which, although good...
I mean, good in the long run, but yeah, you've given up a range 1...
Advanced proton
torpedo, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think that might have been a mistake. I mean, it does allow both Gamma Squadrons to do cluster missiles, which means that it would be 3 dice attacks, but I think missing out on advanced proton torpedo.
Also, knowing that the false transponder codes have been used, those target locks are going to stick around.
Unless he target locks one of them and then just auto breaks that lock.
Okay,
later.
But it makes it more difficult.
Yeah. It's a tough one. Looking back, I feel I wish I'd used the advanced proton torpedo. But you never know. The XX-23s could actually pay dividends in the long run. So we'll have to wait and see.
And I think this is more red dice from... This would be one of the Gamma Squadrons?
Yeah, it's the Gamma Squadrons. Oh,
that's a good shot.
That's a good cluster. That's a great cluster missile. 3 hits there.
Okay, I mean, that already makes it feel like the thread tracers have paid off.
Yeah, that is quite effective. Let's see, this is the red Gamma Squadron at the back.
Another good shot.
That is, wow. Those are some effective cluster missiles.
I mean, you've effectively traded, a 5 die attack for 6 damage.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really say better than that, can you?
I mean, I guess if you landed all 5 of those hits and the Gamma Squadron Aces had got their 2 die attacks in, maybe. But yeah, that seems pretty good, to be honest. The thread tracers, we've seen them on the channel before, and they are something I need to try out because they're proving very effective.
Yeah, they can work really well. It's one of those tricky ones of who do you put it on? Who do you sacrifice a shot with? But then...
Yeah, who is the one who shoots first, doesn't get the damage, doesn't get the glory, and lets everyone else dive in?
One that I've seen it work really effectively on was the HMP swarm from the ambush at Alderaan.
Okay.
With the 5 HMPs all at the same initiative, shooting the S threads, getting the target lock, because the way their target lock works is they can't spend it, but they get the HMP gets a reroll for each friendly target lock.
Yes, they all kind of have fire control systems. So by handing out a bunch of target locks to them, they all just get that passive ability.
Yeah, so it's a really clever usage of that there, and something I would say is definitely worth having a look at. But we've got some more thermal detonators dropping. Let's see how many of these hit myself.
I feel like the ones that Redline is dropping. I mean, I get it. You know, he's on low health. Get the last bombs out. Maybe get some damage in. But your own ships are there.
They're bombers. They can take it.
They're bombers. They're not meant to be bombed.
Well, we'll see
how it goes.
Not
the bombies.
Maybe I've done something that means it's okay. Like a 5k turn.
Okay, but I'm still concerned for Death Rain. He's already had a bad start with these bombs.
Well, maybe we'll call him Raining Death instead.
We'll see. But okay, yeah, the 5k, that can work.
I mean, already got the target lock on Crassus, so that is helpful. And...
Now the question is, does Quinn kind of predict this and just go forward and bump? Or did he try and go past red line, maybe do a sweep to turn around? Oh, actually, no, he's got the rear arc. He won't need to do that. But get past red line, basically onto those bombs.
I mean, fingers crossed.
Well, there's pointing for marking, so that's not a definite bump.
And we're marking that corner up as well, so that could only lead me to assume or hope.
It could mean he's going.
Oh, he's going.
Oh, he's going that way. Oh.
So that's actually.
Is that going to fit?
It does fit. Oh,
yeah.
What is he going to do from there? Because that is a nice position for that Gamma Squadron there. If he doesn't go anywhere, because that's an APT.
You can boost.
I have to wait and see. Picking up all the target locks he's got to take
just
with him.
I mean, keeping track of target locks is important. A number of times I've been like, who had this one? Is just too many times.
Oh, there is the boost. That's a shame.
Yeah. I mean,
sad Gamma.
That's the moments that the boost is there for, really.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially
getting out of trouble or getting a really good shot.
Yeah, especially with that rear arc on Crassus as well. It is just really handy. So let's see what Death Ray's pulled off.
It's that 4 forward?
4K.
No, 4K. Okay.
So it might be just out of range.
Might clip one of them, but it's not as bad as last round.
True.
Actually, are the Punishers able to take the... Well, what's the upgrade that the resistance bombers have? The plating thing.
The Ferrosphere paint.
No, it's
ablative plating.
Yeah, it is a mod, so they can ablative plating 4 points before you suffer damage from an obstacle or a friendly bomb. You can spend a charge and prevent that damage. That might be worth a try somewhere.
That might be worth a try actually. It's
2 charges, and you can ignore some of your own bombs.
I might have to just start taking that because, well, I've not done very well.
I do like that we started off this talking about like, oh, well, they're not doing a lot of red maneuvers, and they've basically all just done red maneuvers.
Yeah. And that's a stress there for red line going over the cloud and landing on the debris.
Stress not great when you're up against the Han Solo Lando combo.
No, not at all.
But kind of necessary to get away from the bombs. Unfortunately, you didn't catch Crassus in the bombs.
No.
Although Han is potentially going into a bit of a kill box. Unless that's going to bump.
Looks like it has bumped into one of the bombers there, which is nice. Looking at it, I believe Han is left-right on his...
So potentially both Crassus and Han can try and finish off red line.
Yeah. But it will be out of range of swarm tactics. Oh,
true.
Yeah. Death Rain did get caught by one, and it's a strain, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, you're already stressed, so you're going to be doing some blues for a bit to clear those.
And let's see what happens to Gamma Squadron.
He's healthy.
For the time being.
I mean, he's not going to die from this. Is he? There's no reason to take 6.
No.
Right? Even if it's like 2 direct hits somehow.
No, just the one. So another strain and the damage onto White and...
Or does Han escape it? Yeah, get the 1 template out. Those 1 templates are so useful.
Yeah, they are fantastic.
And it didn't hit.
Even the 2 template itself is actually... Just having that there is really handy. And I do seriously advocate acrylic templates to anyone. I know that there is the ones that you can get, the official ones. I'm not a huge fan of those ones, but there are so many providers out there for acrylic, like premium acrylic templates. It is definitely worth doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big hit.
That is a big hit. And that's...
I'm assuming that's Han into...
that is a Gamma Squadron by the look of it.
Yeah, because you had... No, if it's into the Gamma Squadron, you would have an extra die, wouldn't you? From the cloud.
I rolled 2, didn't I?
Yeah.
Which...
But there wouldn't be red line because of the structural damage. Maybe you just forgot about the cloud?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, well.
It happens. I mean, I forgot that I bombed myself, so...
There is also that. That is... Ooh, okay.
So just a crit there from Redline.
You never know. Could be a pretty nasty crit.
Fortunately, that was a pretty nice evade there for Crassus. Oh, but we do get a cheeky range.
Oh, a long
shot from Death Rain. Looks like
Death Rain.
Unobstructed, just.
Yeah.
Yeah, unobstructed.
Gets around it. Doesn't have a target lock on the Falcon though, right?
It does. No, target lock's all on Crassus, but does have the focus, which it will spend.
May as well.
And that's 2 damage.
Fair enough. I mean, for a range 3 shot to get 2 damage through, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's 1 shield off of the escape pod and Han there, spreading those damage around.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you can choose where the shields come from.
Yeah,
I always assumed that you have to take them off of one of them first.
It is a reasonable assumption to make. And that is another shield.
Okay, get in there.
This time off of the Falcon again. Yeah, it is a reasonable assumption to make. You think that once you started taking it from one, you'd have to take it continually from the other ship. But again, the escape craft being on there, it's really handy and good to support the Falcon there.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of the escape shuttle craft thing, but it seems like a good support ship.
Yes, and on the subject of support, if you do like what we're doing here at Out of Art Gaming and want to support the channel, we do have a Patreon with a link in the description below. One of the great things about the Patreon is you will get access to some early information about stuff we have coming up, including we are going to preview some of the ships for our upcoming Flight Academy series. And you can also tell us what we have to fly on the channel. Still waiting. We have one person who has gone for that, and I'm still waiting for them to tell me exactly what I have to fly, and I'm very nervous about that. But if you do want to support us, the link is in the description below.
Do you ever have those games where you're trying to figure out like where in the Star Wars universe this is actually happening? Like at what time? Because in my mind here, like Han is flying around with Jabba the Hutt on board, and if they die or get destroyed in this game, maybe that's why Jabba the Hutt's so angry with Han. So you dumped your cargo, and that cargo was me.
I mean, if we're thinking timeline, I would definitely say it is some point between Solo and A New Hope, and the saga would end up very different if Han had dumped Jabba.
The only sort of out of place thing really is Zam being on board, but the rest of it could potentially make sense for that time area.
Yeah. I mean, Zam is literally the only outlier there. Everything else does fit.
Because, I mean, the Imperials are named, but they could have been there at any point, right? They're not known. Oh, they might be in a book somewhere, but I'm not particularly aware of them.
No. I mean, when you think about it, there's what, a 19-year gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope?
Is that how old Luke is?
I believe he's about 19. It's roughly a 19-year gap, I think.
Okay.
Or at least I think Revenge of the Revenge of the Sith is 19 BBY. I mean, someone in the comments could obviously correct me on that.
Actually, that does sound familiar.
And then obviously, if you think that Return of the Jedi is 5 ABY, it gives a 24-year time period for these pilots. And if they're getting this good in the ships, they've probably been in them for quite a while.
What do you think of the shiny, new-looking Falcon? By the way,
I like it. It's definitely different looking than.
It's different enough, but it's still like, oh yeah, that is the Falcon.
I mean, the profile of it straight away, you just look at it and go, yep, that is the Falcon. I mean, even with the escape craft on there, which it makes it look so long. And when you take that escape craft off, you're like, wow, that escape craft's really big. But it's got that profile, and it's quite nice to see what the YT 1300 looks like new. I know obviously Lando's obviously up-modded it and everything because, well, it's Lando. He had to have like a rack for his capes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I like that. I think it's quite nice.
I also like that whole Kessel Run sequence in Solo because it's getting battered, it's getting beat up, it's losing guns, it's turning into Han's Falcon, and at the very end they launch off the escape crafts, and then you're like, oh yeah, there's the Falcon.
It almost feels like a big reveal when they do that,
which is also weird because like normally it's, you know, like Superman puts on the suit and then he's all shiny and fancy. You're like, oh, there's Superman. This is the complete reverse. It gets battered. It gets basically destroyed. You go, there's the Falcon. There's the ship I want.
There's the piece of junk I love. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree, actually. It is the reverse of that superhero reveal.
God, I might watch that again this weekend. It's a good film.
I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was really good fun. It's a little bit disappointing. There was that really cool cut scene that obviously was all over the internet, which I think would have been just quite fun to have in there.
Which one's that one?
The one where Han is actually in the academy flying.
Yeah. I mean, I get why they cut it. So they're like, oh, look, we're going to hold off on Han flying stuff until like he really needs to.
But I thought it was quite good. Oh, that's...
and there goes Red Line.
Red Line's already gone. That was actually
sorry,
the Red
I got
Gamma
completely
spot.
distracted talking about Solo. There goes, as you say, the...
No, not gone, sorry. Gas cloud. Remembered it this time. Because back when we flew this, gas clouds are actually good.
Well, I mean, they're still good. They're just not a bit too good.
Give me back
I wouldn't go so far as to say they were overpowered or like too strong. But they were just a little bit stronger than the other obstacles, that you saw them a bit too much.
Yeah, they were... I mean, I'm not going to lie, they were kind of my go-to obstacle.
They were too many people's go-to obstacle, I think, was the problem.
Yeah. And I mean, there were so many reasons you would take it. Firstly, the essentially free evade that you got with it was always good, always handy. The fact that you didn't take damage, it was like a beginner obstacle, as it were.
I'm kind of surprised that Quinn didn't bring just a bunch of debris to try and stress your ships more for the Han's stuff.
That is true, actually.
Because normally if I have at least a ship with a stress-related ability, I just go, right, where's all of my debris?
I mean, that does make perfect sense because you instantly get stressed when you go over debris.
Yeah, I used it quite a lot when I fly near none in the T-70 because if he gets stressed, but he lands in front of a ship,
with
you
stress,
just go with it.
Yeah. There's quite a few ships I could think that would enjoy that. Again, obviously, Han with Lando's Blending Falcon would be good.
Yeah.
If you've got Phasma as a crew... I mean, Phasma is rude. Because
Phasma's the one who goes, oh, you've taken a stress, take another one, right? Or is that a different First Order crew?
You know, I don't fly much First Order. I've flown it more recently, but I don't tend to fly anything with pilots.
I mean,
With
yeah, just
crews.
anything that hands out stress, just adds on to the stress that you might already get from going over debris.
Well, Phasma is the one at the end of the engagement phase. Each enemy ship at range 0 to 1 that is not stressed gains 1 stress token.
Right, and if you can do that before they fly over a debris, then they're still stressed. And that's a shot from Han into, I think, Death Rain.
Yeah, and that's a loose stabilizer on Death Rain.
Which one's loose stabilizer?
Go straight or damage.
Oh.
It does repair itself.
He can just go forward and bump, though. That's not awful. Yeah. It would limit you on dropping a bomb. Or can you drop a bomb and then use the free action from Death Rain's ability to fix that?
You could. That's
by the sounds of your voice, you didn't think to do that in this game, though.
We shall see.
Or I've predicted it. Oh, you're dropping both of your bombs.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that doesn't give you 2 actions. It's only 1. I like the barrel roll, though, giving you a clearer space to go forward.
Yeah. It does say after you drop or launch a device, you may perform an action. And the wording on thermal detonators, you may spend up to 2 charges to drop that many thermal detonators in the 1 or 2 template. So it does clearly say drop. So
But you only did the actions after dropping both anyway.
Yeah.
So you would have had to drop one, do an action, drop the other, do an action.
And obviously with it being a barrel roll as well, that was it's a red action.
Yeah. So I guess potentially Death Rain could drop 1 thermal detonator, barrel roll, and drop another one.
Oh. I've never thought about that, and I like it.
Or in fact, can they boost? They can boost.
Ooh, that could be really nasty. That could be really nasty indeed.
There's some fun stuff you can do with Death Rain after all. Wow.
I'm going to have to write some more lists with Death Rain in it.
Yeah, go for it. More Punishers on the board for me to blow up.
I might just get my Death Rain Red Line and TIE Brute list out again. Yeah,
the TIE Brute. Again, another ship from Solo. It's a cool ship.
I really like it. I mean, not only that, the model is cool as well with the actual rotating cannons on it. That's just such a cool... I'm glad they actually included that.
Yeah, the shift to moving models for X-Wing has been fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like that little bit of extra detail. It's like, oh, look, the wings can do this.
So I've got the S-foils on my B-Wing and my X-Wings. I've got a rotating arc on my Brute. I mean, I know we already had it, but the wings on the Lambda and the Upsilon, I'm not going to lie, I always love that. The Scimitar, the Sith Infiltrator, has wings that move.
But I think the most fun one is when you get a particularly loose fang fighter, you can just spin it.
Yes, that is cool.
Just give it a flick, and watch those wings go wild.
Because they've got a little bit of play to them. But obviously when they're really loose, that is quite cool. I would absolutely love it if they did articulated wings on the Star Viper.
I feel like that's too fiddly.
Shh. No,
don't get me wrong. I agree that it would be cool if they did it, but I feel like the model would be very fragile.
I keep looking at my 3-star Vipers and going, well, I've got 3, so I can probably do it to 1. I don't want to ruin it. I'm confident to rip the peg off the bottom and magnetize it, but actually cutting my ships up, I'm a bit like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah. There's not much going back once you've done a cut.
Yeah.
What are we waiting on here? It looks like Han hasn't moved yet.
Yeah, it looks like we're just waiting on the action from Crassus, who has target locked the bomber, which he's got rid of my target lock.
The old transponder codes. How many times has Jabby been used?
Jab has been used twice, so that's the third transponder code of the game,
Right.
which is an extremely efficient amount of points there. And that's a big 3 there.
Oh, next to both of those bombs. Is he going to boost to get away from it? I think. Oh, I don't know, because that would then put you right in front of that bomber as well.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to, though. No,
Yeah.
taking the focus. Okay. Going for that range 1 shot.
You've got the shields. You're not going to give up half points on anything.
Yeah. Although that is shields on both.
Okay.
So that does mean he has to lose the shield on Lando, which...
Good bomb placement.
Yeah, good bomb placement. So there is some half points there. So the points are actually pretty even at the moment. We've got, less than 12 minutes.
87 to 70.
So you can't... That's looking pretty...
And there's still a lot of stuff on the board. Only Red Line has been destroyed. Lando hasn't technically shown up yet. And I'm starting to doubt that he will.
Sometimes I think...
At least not until Han blows up.
Yeah. Oh, that is good. That was Greedo.
Nasty shot.
Oh,
those green dice, though. Only a crit. Well, I say only a crit. What is the crit?
Only a crit. And that crit is direct hit.
Oh.
Whoop, whoop.
Greedo.
Greedo is such an interesting card, and it's definitely right that it is 1 point, because if you have it on the right ship, it's so powerful for you. But if you can't trigger it, I mean, if Crassus had got all focuses, all blanks, or all crits, wouldn't have been able to trigger Greedo. I mean, that would have been bad times for Gamma Squadron anyway, but then it would have meant that I get to use it. And when you use Greedo yourself, it doesn't trigger the charge. It's only when the person who has it on their ship triggers the charge on it.
Yes, it's one of those abilities where it's so thematic to the character involved. It's a very cleverly designed card. I do like Greedo from a design standpoint. That's pretty nasty, though.
Yeah.
I mean, still, you got an evade.
No, that was me shooting.
Sorry, I meant you in general. But yes, Quinn got an evade.
Quinn got an evade, and that is... What's the crit coming down? That is a fuel leak.
Ooh. Okay.
It's a real shame that I don't have anything else that can shoot at Crassus right now.
Yeah. Because, if you can get 1 crit in, that's at least 2 damage.
Yeah.
And if you're getting a crit through, you're probably going to end up getting another hit in. You might be able to take out Crassus.
That is, I think... That is an ideal right now, because Crassus is the most expensive ship on the board.
Yeah. By a long way.
Because the Scum Falcon is really cheap.
It's only got a 2-die natural attack.
Yeah, but you can get 3 of them. You could actually get 4 of them.
It's weird, because it starts off with 2. Yeah. What kind of a threat is that? And then it can go up to 7, I think, in some weird combination.
Yeah, if you've got Lando with, Han with Lando's Millennium Falcon and Trick Shot on there, it range 1, it would just be crazy. But I mean, right now it's going to be interesting. I'm curious as to whether Crassus will be able to avoid.
Yeah, because I want to say Crassus kind of just wants to get out of the fight for a bit, but is not facing the right direction for that, and is facing a cloud.
This is Crassus shooting back first into the Gamma Squadron.
That's the white marked Gamma Squadron, correct?
Yes, who does have
3 health.
So that's
just lives.
He's got a hull breach.
Oh no, what are these crits going to be? It can't possibly be another direct hit, right?
Oh, let's hope not. It's a panic pilot, and
okay.
A panic
And
pilot.
four stress in one go.
Oh wow!
Han is happy about that.
Han is just like,
I
okay,
mean,
you've only got
he's
one
down at
health.
1 health, but
Yeah,
wow.
that's
I mean,
unfortunate.
he's between both enemy ships. I can understand being a bit panicked.
I mean, he survived, which in itself is impressive.
He's doing that thing in films where everyone sort of grabs themselves and goes, "Oh my, I've lived, I've lived." But
And then,
yeah,
and then the shot pans out, and
and
suddenly
you see what they've still got to deal with. It's like,
yeah.
oh right, yeah, the fight.
What you can't see off the map is like 5C rocks, Bosk in the YV666, Dengar in the Jumpmaster, ready just to pounce on them, Fenral just watching and waiting, and the escape craft is out.
I always forget that can come out the back.
Yeah, out of either guides.
Because I think the Ghost specifies that the attack shuttle has to come out the back.
Yes,
which is weird that they didn't do the same specification for this.
Yeah, it is a bit strange. And when we were actually playing this game, we were having that discussion. There is 2 ships that you can actually do out the side, but they are epic, which is the Raider and the Gazanti. You can do it out the side. And I think possibly the CR90 can dock. I think there might be a title card
that sounds reasonable for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I've not really done much epic, so
if you look at if you look at Rebels, obviously they've got the Y-wings and the A-wings dock onto it regularly. So let's have a quick look and see.
Now, how fast is Crassus going? Oh, does that avoid the cloud? No, definitely not.
No.
Right? It must have clipped that little sort of tail at the top of the cloud.
You'd think so. There's no dice being rolled. Ooh. Must have missed it. Wow. That is
actually
impressive.
No, a red. Well, I don't know. A red token. Does that mean it's a red move? No, it was a 1 sharp. So
no, that's a strain.
Okay, so the dice just got missed.
Shown. Yeah.
So it's a strain. But
I'll tell you who is going to be strained. No, my luck. Yeah, there we go. There's a strain on Death Rain. So you were saying there, James?
I lost my train of thought on that one.
I mean, that's a nice position for Death Rain to be in.
What was I going to say? I was going to say, like, with the rear arc, you've got decent shots, but then there's also Death Rain bearing down on you.
Well, Crassus is in a nice position to take out that Gamma Squadron. Han obviously can't shoot that Gamma Squadron, but he's got Death Rain in the other Gamma Squadron.
Yep.
And then you've obviously got Lando in the escape craft. Just having a look, you can dock ships on the CR90 if you have the Liberator title.
Okay, that's interesting.
I haven't played as much Epic as I'd like.
Yeah, worth noting that now that Lando is not on board, Han doesn't get the reroll for enemy ships being stressed. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's too bothered about it. Oh, that's...
Maybe there he might have been
he might have been bothered about it.
I mean, that was always foresight there.
Oh, guys, is this obstructed? No, it's measuring for range. Is it range 1, though? And does Death Rain have a target lock?
I think Death Rain does have a target lock, and I don't think it is range 1. I think it's just out.
Yeah,
it's just out, which is...
it's range 2. And you don't need... Well, you don't need to spend the target lock.
Oh, but spending Greedo.
Yep.
Oh, that's a hit
good
crit.
Job remembering Greedo.
Oh, so
and the Greedo crit triggering the fuel leak.
Oh, I think we might have missed that.
Oh, really?
We missed the fuel leak.
Oh.
Oh. Well, that is a game changer.
Oh, well, it's a friendly game.
It's a friendly. To be honest, they're always friendly games, even if it's a tournament. We're always.
Well, yeah.
That's one thing I will say about Entoyment is all of our games are always super friendly, and you know what? Mistakes are made. It's fine.
I mean, if neither player catches it, then fine. If you catch a mistake like that and you don't call it out because it's in your favor, though, that's a bad move.
Oh yeah, definitely. And knowing Quinn, he would never.
Oh, Quinn definitely would point it out if he saw it. Yeah,
he is really good with fair play, and it is always good fun to fly against Quinn. Mainly just to see what his lists are supposed to be doing.
He's got so many combos, even this one list, with effectively 2 ships. Like, Lando's only just shown up.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, he has used his combos incredibly well.
Yeah, it's basically all shown up. I've not really been able to keep track of how Zam has been used, but I'm sure it's been there.
I think Zam's been triggered once. Again, Zam is a crew card. When you've got that many upgrades, it's so easy to forget. I mean, I've flown Zam as a pilot, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't know which card to actually use. And then like you think, oh yeah, I'll use this one, and then it just doesn't pan out. And you're like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, it takes a lot of practice with Zam and a lot of reading as well.
I have just noticed my health count at the moment, and I'm glad this is the end of the game because I have 1 health on all my ships. That was a brutal and bloody game.
There's a lot going on, but it was good.
Yeah.
You managed to do what? 3 health to your own death rain.
Yep. One to my own Gamma Squadron.
Yeah.
So doing quite well there. But yeah, I mean, all in all, got some good damage in on Crassus. Should have, but it's fine. Should have taken her down. But again, really good. Like, did this damage on Han and took off those shields on Lando as well whilst he was attached.
And potentially could have destroyed Crassus if you'd remembered the fuel leak.
Yeah, but again,
I don't think that would have got you enough points, would it?
It would be very close. How many? You've got the list there. How many points is Crassus currently?
Well, with the new points is 103. So potentially, I don't know how many points it was during the time of recording.
I'm not 100% sure. I can have a quick gander. But I will say that was an incredibly enjoyable game to fly and also watch back. But yeah, Quinn, again, really good list that he's got there. And nice for Quinn to break his losing streak and bring it back. Just for those of you that are curious, at the time of recording, Crassus was 94 points. So that would have been an extra 47 points, which would have swung it. But you know what? All in all, things get missed. As long as you're having fun, that is the main thing. And this game was incredibly good fun.
Yep. Also a good reason to remember to use those crit tokens.
Yeah, it's because
they're not used a lot, but they are good for remembering them.
It's because I don't have acrylic ones, and that I like to use my acrylic tokens.
Fair.
So I might need to get some of those. But anyway,
well done, Quinn.
Yeah,
and yourself. That was a good game.
Yeah, good game there, Quinn. Thank you very much. But James, thank you very much for coming along and rooting for Quinn there.
Yeah, maybe I can go.
All right, I'll let you go. I'll let you take the restraining bot off. But we'll get you back on soon. But
yeah, definitely.
Guys, thank you very much for watching as always. Again, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We do have some really cool stuff coming up over the Christmas period. And if you want to find out more about that and support the channel, don't forget we've got the link for the Patreon in the description below. But anyway, guys, we will see you next time.